March the 20th, 2018. Guys, excuse the voice. I've been fighting the sore throat for a couple of days. You probably knew it if you listened to the last Block Talk radio show. I'm trying to keep it kind of a quick video because of that. Now, I had wanted to schedule a Block Talk radio show tonight, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I will reschedule it. I'm going to be lucky to get through this video update. But guys, just hang in there. Sometimes that happens. We got the weather changing from cold to hot, from wet to dry every day here. And it happens. But anyway, Zero Hedge today. This is an article that should be very important to everyone that watches my channel and a lot of other people's channels that are aware of the situation. But it says, what do they know that we don't? D.C. officials flock to Doomsday camps. Again, look at today's date. It says Washington, D.C. government officials are flocking to Doomsday camps around the country, which of course begs the question, what do they know that we do not? Now, I'm going to send you to the article. I'll link it. But again, guys, Zero Hedge, just go there. It's right there at the top. And it's they're talking about it. They're building a network of backwoods doomsday camps around the country and are pulling in members from affluent areas and even Washington national security officials as the threat grows from nuclear war and EMP or virus attack. Dubbed Fortitude Ranch, the outpost promised protection and a year's supply of food for those unable to build their own bunker, with preparations for SHTF, you know what that is, scenario. What's more, until a crisis strikes, the doomsday camps are being used for prepper training and vacations. More than likely, the same people that are buying them and renting them, they're coming in there kind of showing them how to use it. One of Fortitude's Ranch members from the Baltimore area said that he and others joined after waking up to the potential of a national crisis from an attack, financial meltdown, or political violence. Now, the last two make a lot more sense than the first one. We can't rule it out. And we've talked about, guys, for the last 2 or 3 weeks that the banking cabal could throw a switch and put us into chaos simply because we're not prepared for it. It said, for most of us, something rattled our cages and woke us up. I'm going to read one more part of this. And to me, this is the most interesting. It says, we're seeing members from all 3-letter agencies. Guys, have you heard 3-letter agencies anywhere lately? Yes. It says, Fortitude creator Drew Miller, a retired Air Force colonel, an intelligence officer, in a reference to the Central Intelligence Agency, we call it clowns, Defense Intelligence Agency, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and more. Think about it. Miller called an attack or even a weather-related electromagnetic pulse shutdown of the electric grid inevitable and a driving force in this project. Now, we talk about an EMP. We talk about a banking cabal shutdown. And lately, there's rumors that Russia, and everything's blamed on Russia, and we really don't know who's really behind it, that there could be a false flag attack and our grid go down because they can now hack the power plants. But again, look at who we're talking about. The CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, and FBI. Now, how long has this been in preparation? Was it before the Trump administration? Did the 3-letter agencies that are now being called out and people are fired, were they already preparing for this? Was it something they were going to create, or was there actually something like a coronal mass ejection, a solar flare event, or even worse, a gamma ray burst that would affect our planet? They're talking about CMEs. It says, through memberships and his own cryptocurrency called Fortitudes, it's saying Miller has raised about $400,000 and established a ranch in West Virginia. That's FEMA 3, if I'm not mistaken, and Colorado, with 10 others planned. An open house at the West Virginia ranch is scheduled for April 21st through the 23rd. He said that for the West Virginia ranch, again, FEMA 3, Most members are professional Washington area folks. They don't have time to do their own this on their own. The cost is about $1,000 per person per year to join. Then, of course, that's membership fee. And they're saying you have to be an idiot not to think it won't happen. But guys, again, I'm not going to read the whole article because of my voice. I'm going to say a couple more things. One, I know it's a sensitive subject, but I've got to talk about it. On the video last night, created a lot of conflict. Let me just put it straight. That the people that for about 4 days on their YouTube channels and their Blog Talk radio shows would try to put forth a really subtle innuendo, they thought. But when they mention your name personally and then call you the divider through a 2-hour show and through their videos throughout that week, you kind of get tired of it. And if you're kind of a southern boy like I am, you're going to react to it. Plus, if you already understand the chess game that's being played, you're going to call it out anyway. But anyway, I threw some bait out. The fish took it, hook, line, and sinker. And the reason I did it that way, guys, you can call it radical, you can call it whatever you want to. But the two people that were called out, we had talked privately. One I had recorded, and that person had started attacking me on the email. The other one was having a BP bash festival on all of his videos and his, again, Blog Talk Radio. And I'd had enough, so, and what they were doing is they were all agreeing privately about the topic in the video. Okay? You understand what that topic was? On the phones, they were agreeing 100%. Neither one had the balls to call it out. So when I did, instead of getting behind it or either just simply keeping their mouth shut, they start, and look, they knew what was happening. As a matter of fact, some of the information came from the two characters involved in this. And so put yourself in my place. You're talking privately on the phone. They're saying, yeah, this is happening, this is happening. Then someone has the courage to bring it out, put it in the public. And then they attack you and call you divisive for the same people they're talking. So anyway, that's all I've got to say about that. Now, one other thing that's really important, I think. Now, I'm not sure if this is the closing data I had just when I had time earlier today to look at this range. You're looking at Facebook stock. Notice that right here, 319. This is when certain announcements came out and Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg got busted here in the U.S. and in the U.K. for violating federal law through the Federal Trade Commission and other laws. It started collapsing right there on the 19th. It's been going down. The first day, Zuckerberg lost $6.06 billion. Today, he probably lost more than that. So he's probably up around $20 billion in losses now. But we were warned about this. And this is part of the takedown of Mockingbird. Now, when you look at Silicon Valley, guys, not all of them, but some of them are directly CIA controlled. Now, we've talked about the clowns having their wings clipped and the leverage taken away from them. So are we seeing the effects of that? Possibly. Now, listen, Facebook is also being busted in a major election scam in both the UK and in the U.S. I have a full video that's like 20 minutes that I'm not going to do right now about all the implications. But you need to study this, and it's about a group that came in and Facebook gave them full access, including the CIA and another private company, so that they can blackmail with prostitutes, money, land, real estate, certain politicians here and in the UK to do their bidding. Facebook was highly implicated in it. But this is what is happening to their stock. You're looking at over $6 billion per day in this drop for just Zuckerberg, not the country, but his stock share. But what did he do right before this started happening? He knew it was coming. This is what he did. Zuckerberg saved tens of millions of dollars by selling Facebook stock before it crashed. They got Martha Stewart for doing that, and they call it insider trading. Zuck, at Zuck, you're going to be like at Jack, Mark. But it gets even worse. Today from the Drudge Report, feds are probing Facebook again, U.S. and U.K. Crisis meeting at Facebook without Zuckerberg. He's in hiding. Kind of like at Jack. I guess we could do like at Zuck. But guys, every paper, just type in this crisis and look into the criminal activity that they were doing with the elections, letting CIA in, hiring private companies that would come in and extort people, even manipulate everything down to the comments on their channels, anything they needed to do, sending hookers, drugs, money, entrapment, the entire, it's worse than any mafia that you've ever heard about. Where have we heard this before? Let's go back just a few days ago before it all hit. This was a Q post. It said extreme efforts to kill login devices. Extreme efforts to censor. We've seen that. We've seen the purge. Extreme efforts. Dead cat bounce. Enjoy the show. Bring the rain. And it goes back to a chart, guys. And the dead cat bounce, of course, it originally originates mostly with the stock market. But in an Anon post about this dead cat bounce, it was showing that until Trump was elected, we had a certain censorship. Once he got elected, we started seeing and it come off that censorship some. And then we started seeing the indictments come forth and people getting fired in the FBI and things like that. Then where it came into the dead cat bounce, and what that means is there's a stock dying or an event dying or a project dying or a company dying. That as it hits the bottom, there will be some people, and this is financially, that will buy in at the bottom and it will bounce back up. But here's what we're seeing in the dead cat bounce of social media in the purge, is that as they saw the people getting taken down out of the deep state, they put everything they had back into the purge. A lot of people were taken down, right? But it's this dead cat bounce means a very temporary effect. Enjoy the show, bring the rain. In other words, the Q also talked about, and other people talked about, that this would collapse within itself. And let's go back 5 more days. It says the creation of the internet and connecting platforms. Think about this, the connecting platforms. What are they? We just got through talking about it. Is bringing about their downfall. Failure to control. Mainstream media is dead. Hashtag Internet Bill of Rights. That started with knocking out this net neutrality that Obama put in. But listen, the creation of the internet and the connecting platforms, what are they? You've got your major search engines. You've got your major social media platforms. They're bringing about their downfall. Why? Because, well, you see this. Facebook losing billions, not just the owner billions a day, $6 billion a day, after making tens of millions by selling out early. Guys, you that have stock in Facebook, you really need to look into this illegal the pre-selling of the stock. Failure to control, and that's what they're talking about with this new event facing Facebook in the UK and here. Mainstream media is dead, Internet Bill of Rights. So we're going through this dead cat bounce where once they saw people going down, they put everything they had into it, probably a lot of Soros money, a lot of Democratic National Committee money and other people we know of, and pumped it back as hard as they could, put the pressure on Silicon Valley to create the purge. But this is going down. They are going down, and we're seeing it now. How do you hit the crooks? In the pocketbook. But guys, again, as soon as I get my voice back, and this was longer than I intended, but it needed to be talked about, I will schedule a Blog Talk show. But think about what I've told you. It's a heads up. Be safe.